Welcome to This Week in Astrology. This is episode number 546 for August 10 through 16, 2020. This super dynamic week features Uranus turning retrograde and the start of 5 months of Mars squaring Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, which ties into 75 days of committed partnership T-squares. Whoa. We also have lots more aspect pattern action, a new cradle that can help you make a heart-connected relationship even better, 2 new Grand Trines that can help you stand out as a leader or entertainer, and the peaking of a Double Yod Key focused on committed partnership. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Benjamin Bernstein, broadcasting from thisweekinastrology.com. I simultaneously record these weekly forecasts as an audio podcast and a video, so you can choose the format you like. The video version includes my chart graphics for things like lunations and aspect patterns. We'll have several of those today. You can also see these graphics if you read my forecasts online. Just go to astroshaman.com, click blog on the menu bar, and then choose the astrology forecast category, or just use the link in the show notes. Please leave me a rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode so that others like you can find it. As we come into this week, we've got a waxing moon and 4 retrograde planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Chiron. So let's get into our days of the week. Let's start with Monday, August 10th. What adjustments would help heal one of your committed partnerships or take it to the next level of wonderful? This is the fundamental opportunity offered by a double Yod Key. It includes the Sun, Juno, Neptune, and Pluto. Now, technically speaking, this aspect pattern created by 2 interlinked yods starts today on August 10th, peaks on the 14th, and ends on the 17th. But the Sun, Juno, Neptune yod that fundamentally defines it started back on August 7th. On the challenging side, Pluto could catalyze power struggles, Neptune could encourage delusional thinking, and the Leo Sun could lead to me-first egotism. But what if the same planets are used more consciously? Pluto could encourage authentic, intimate connection, which could include sacred sex if you've got that kind of relationship. Neptune can open the door to conscious soul merging, as well as easy intuitive guidance. And the Leo Sun can encourage fun and playfulness, while Libran Juno can promote harmonious relating. Tuesday, August 11th. How can you make a heart-connected relationship, Venus in Cancer, even better? Be your authentic self, follow your intuitive hits, and try some new things. That's Uranus. Do whatever shadow work is needed to clear your own psychological baggage. That's Ceres. And employ strategic techniques, Pallas Athena, designed to promote harmony and win-win outcomes. All these planets are part of a cradle aspect pattern that starts today on August 11th, peaks on the 18th, and ends on August 24th. This cradle also provides flowing support for Venus's other meanings, which include creativity and finances. Also today, we have 75 days of committed partnership T-squares. No, we don't have all 75 in a week, but it kind of kicks off this week. Even the best committed partnerships might feel challenged due to a powerful and prolonged T-square. It features a Mars-Juno opposition, squaring 2020's most important aspect, the mighty Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto triple conjunction. This 5-planet aspect pattern began on August 7th, it peaks down the 11th, and it doesn't end until September 1st. Quite unusual to have a beginning, a peak 4 days later, and then that many weeks going by until it ends. As usual, I recommend nonviolent communication to work out any issues with your partner, and my free healing invocation to assist with your personal shadow work. There's a link to that in the show notes. Does it seem like your committed partnership has already been under strain? I've certainly gone through my stuff with Makisla lately. That could be because 3 planet variations of this aspect pattern have already been active. You see, all these T-squares include the Mars-Juno opposition, which creates the core meaning of challenge in these critical relationships. 1 or more of these T-squares is in effect for 75 days. It started back on July 18th. It goes all the way through October 2nd. And here's how those 3 T-squares break down. The first T-square is with Mars, Juno, and Jupiter. It started on July 18th, peaks on July 30th, and ends on September 1st. The second one is Mars, Juno, and Pluto. That T-square started on July 24th, peaks on August 4th, ends on September 27th. Then the third T-square with Mars, Juno, and Saturn started on August 7th, peaks on the 11th and on September 18th, a double peak because of Mars retrograde, and ends on October 2nd. You see, the greater the challenge, the greater the possible breakthrough. Committed partners who work skillfully with these intense energies can emerge with their relationships functioning at a whole new level of awesomeness. Thursday, August 13th, 5 months of Mars squaring Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. Now, these are just standalone squares, not the T-squares I was just talking about. Simpler. Today's Mars-Pluto square, which is with Mars at 23 degrees 5 minutes Aries and Pluto at 23 degrees 5 minutes Capricorn, deserves its own flashing caution light. But the fact that Mars will be squaring members of the Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto triple conjunction for the next 6 months, with only 1 month off, is astrological front page news. For starters, that Mars-Pluto square brings the two planets of sexuality into a heated relationship. You can use this potent libido booster for straight up physical pleasure, or you can lift your erotic connection into the ecstatic realms of sacred sex by also blending your light bodies together. On the dark side, this square could represent rape or sexual assault, as well as any kind of attack or destructive action. Do your best to steer clear of potentially violent people or situations, please. On the high side, the square can supercharge your leadership, athleticism, and entrepreneurship. It can also bring up old psychological wounds for healing. My free healing invocation, as I mentioned earlier, has helped thousands clear old traumas quickly and efficiently. If you've been following my forecast the last few months, you already know about 2020's most important aspect, that earth-shaking Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto triple conjunction. There's a link in the show notes if you want to go deeper into that. These three planets are plenty powerful on their own, but they get even stronger when squared by the fiery energy of Mars. Using a 5-degree orb of power, Mars began its square to Jupiter on July 26. It squares all three planets exactly in August. It squares Jupiter on August 4th, Pluto on August 13th, which is today in this forecast. It'll square Saturn on August 24th. Now, the Mars effect lasts so long because Mars turns retrograde on September 9th, while still within orb of its square to Saturn. By the way, orb means close enough to still be energetically connected. On its retrograde pass, Mars squares Saturn on September 28th, Pluto on October 9th, and Jupiter on October 19th. He takes a break from the stimulation starting on November 2nd when he retrogrades more than 5 degrees past Jupiter. Then Mars turns direct on November 13th and gives us one more round of squares. He comes within 5 degrees of Pluto on December 6th, exactly squares Pluto again on December 23rd. Now, at this point, the Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto triple conjunction is breaking up. Jupiter and Saturn have moved into Aquarius and are quickly moving away from Pluto. Mars wraps up its cycle by squaring Saturn on January 13th and Jupiter on January 23rd. So far, the Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto triple conjunction has brought us paradigm-shifting events such as the pandemic and broader acceptance of the Black Lives Matter movement. Astrology is archetypally predictive, not concretely predictive, so I don't know exactly what further shakeups this potent trio will bring us. But with Mars energizing Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto for 5 of the next 6 months, during which we will have the US presidential election, I am confident that they'll be shaking up our world a lot more before they're done. And I'm very optimistic about that because we are on such a catastrophic course right now. We need major shakeup to have any hope of having any kind of harmonious future. What's also happening here on August 13th? What a packed day. Ready to stand out as a leader or entertainer? 2 overlapping Grand Trines give you harmonious support. The first Grand Trine with the Sun, Mars, and South Node started on August 13th and ends on August 20th. The second with Mercury, Mars, and the South Node starts here on the 13th and ends on the 22nd. Both Grand Trines merge and become a single aspect pattern August 13th through August 20th. And the image there, if you're seeing that, is the 2 together. And all 3 variations peak on August 17th. Whether it's the sun and or Mercury in the aspect pattern, they're in Leo. This is the sign of the performer in the spotlight or the sovereign on the throne. Mars in Aries brings forth the energy of the leader, warrior, pioneer, or entrepreneur. And the Sagittarian South Node invites you to bring forth your past life experience as an adventurer or wisdom giver. Now, Grand Trines give a certain amount for free, and then they get lazy. So mine the trine to rock its full potential. Then on Friday, August 14th, the Sun, Juno, Neptune, Pluto double Yod Key that I've already talked about that started back on August 10th, as well as that Sun, Juno, Neptune, Yod that started on the 7th. They both peak today on August 14th and then on the 17th. And then on Saturday, August 15th, Uranus turns retrograde at 10 degrees 41 minutes Taurus. He will turn direct again in 5 months on January 14 of 2021. This is a great time to reflect on Uranus's 3 life-affirming themes. First, are you embracing your authentic self, no matter how weird it may be, and flying your freak flag to the world as appropriate? It's important, I believe, to really be authentic with yourself about all the unusual things about you. People like me can fly their freak flag 100%, but some people live in conservative places and they must fly their freak flag a little more selectively in particular environments. Secondly, are you following your intuitive hits? They're like text messages from your higher self and are the most accurate guidance available, or at least so hundreds of my clients tell me, and so I experience myself. And third, are you serving others using your special gifts and talents that you most love to use? Planets are most powerful when they change directions. Are there any sensitive points in your chart between 8 and 14 degrees in the fixed signs? Those would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. If so, watch for Uranus to destabilize whatever they represent that does not serve your highest good, and to offer an awesome paradigm shift to everything that does. A few quick announcements for you here. Everyone is welcome to participate in most Awakening Plus calls for free. These calls support your individual healing and awakening and also support the current global spiritual awakening. Here are brief descriptions of the August events I've scheduled so far. They're all at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Every Thursday, we're doing a New Earth support call. They used to be on Saturdays. Now we've moved them to Thursdays. In fact, we're getting even better attendance based on the first one. And I changed these because my Saturdays are getting pretty busy and I can do Thursday nights a lot more reliably and consistently. We'll create our sacred container in these events, invoke embodied awakening, and then flow energy to support the more awakened new earth currently blossoming. The divine always rewards us with personal spiritual upgrades and profound bliss. These events last about an hour and they're always different. We've been doing these for several months now. It's never the same twice. Really cool stuff. And if you're listening soon enough, this Tuesday, August 11th, 2 days from now as I record this, you can support the individual healing of the people on this call and maybe even get a healing of your own. Don't be surprised if you receive bounce back healing as you hold space for someone else. We should have time for 3 or 4 people in the hot seat. Awakening Plus members will be given first priority. If time remains and no Awakening Plus members are waiting, the hot seat will open to non-members. Then on Tuesday, August 18th, we're going to do Divinely Directed. This event is directed by spirits in the moment guidance, as the name would suggest, to serve each person's highest good. This guided group meditation unfolds spontaneously. I narrate the experience, serving as the group's empathic tour guide. Each divinely directed call is unique. However, a typical call features a subtle field being held. Within this sacred space, each person receives the specific awakening, healing, or spiritual experience that serves their highest good. In addition to these customized individual experiences, the group often blends together as a single divine being. Words like bliss and euphoria simply are not adequate to describe some of the ecstatic spiritual experiences we share in the inner worlds. And this just in, on Tuesday, August 25th, I've identified our guest presenter, Kimberly Crow. Kimberly Crow is an internationally known visionary teacher, artist, and transformational healer. She has presented to my members in the past and has always done a spectacular job. Join us to receive Kimberly's latest spiritual downloads. More details on that soon. Thanks for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, awakening activation, astrological event timing, and one-of-a-kind life coaching. All my one-on-one services are equally effective in person or long distance. And during the pandemic, I have dropped my rates significantly. I also offer an unbeatable price on SolarFire, the #1 astrology software for Windows. By the way, they just announced an update for that program, so they've added even more cool stuff to it. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership for spiritual support. You can learn about all this and more in the show notes. To see them, go to astroshaman.com/546. Again, ASTROSHA, M as in mother, N as in Nancy.com/546. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is astroshamanbenjamin@gmail.com. My number for voice and text, 828-338-9852. I would love to connect with you. We are wrapping up. Once again, please leave me a rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode so that others like you can find it. This Week in Astrology is honored to be chosen as one of the internet's top 10 astrology podcasts. Check out our website where you can hear the show and subscribe to podcast updates. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to click the link in the show notes for 2 chances to win a free Astrology Plus session with me each month. I just last week restarted this whole sign-up thing. So if you had previously sent in your chart info to register, that's no longer going to qualify. You need to sign up again and do this new sign-up to get in the drawing. Thanks again for spending this time with me. Stay safe, stay healthy. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.